Guy says hopefully she's gonna get the Power of the Doctor reaction out by tomorrow.
That would
So
be great.
hopefully that's true. Yeah.
And we are live. Let's share it
Yay!
around. Share it around.
Dude,
Oh,
dude.
guess what? Guess what
Dude.
percentage my battery's on?
4.
No, 42.
I had one of the numbers.
GoAWrestling.
Rampage event. Indunity and Rampage event.
Yeah, speaking of, bloody Tony Khan's going to do Collision and Rampage during the show we're about to do predictions for. I don't know
I wonder
how.
if the network had anything to say about that. If they was like, hey, you
I,
should do that.
don't know. I mean, it is a premium live event, so maybe they have a better chance, but I don't know. It's a strange old thing. Interestingly, you're wearing an Orange Cassidy t-shirt to a WWE prediction stream. What a traitor. How dare you like both companies? It's not fair. What is the difference between addicting and addictive? I've always wondered that. I guess it's like addictive is like is specific to sort of substances maybe, whereas addicting is more like an activity.
You can be addictive to other things, I think.
No, but you'd say like I don't know, cigarettes are addictive, like nicotine is addictive, whereas you know I don't know, playing chess is addicting.
I guess it would depend on the level of addictiveness.
Addictiveness,
Like
is
if
that a
I'm
word?
playing video games to an extent where I'd probably lose my job and I lose a lot of money, then I think that could be considered a problem and addictive. I don't think it's specifically to do with drugs.
Anyway, hello and welcome to our predictions for WWE Survivor Series War Games 2023. So it seems War Games. Seems like old Hunter Hearst Helmsley has decided to do War Games each year now. Instead of the traditional Survivor Series matches. I guess War Games is a bit more of an attraction, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, puts their bodies on in more danger. But yeah, we're going predictions for Survivor Series. This will be, I think, if I remember correctly, I think this will be the first time I'll be watching in full from start to finish WWE branded War Games matches.
Ooh.
Because I've seen WCW ones, and I've seen AEW Blood and Guts. I've seen AEW Blood and Guts, and I've seen the WCW War Games matches. Not all of them, but some of them. But when NXT started doing War Games, I had already dipped out of wrestling. And I've seen highlights. I definitely have seen highlights. The highlights I saw of that NXT one that had Io Shirai and Candice LeRae in it. That one was fucking awesome. That's a great match. And I remember there was the one with Pat McAfee as well. That's a crazy match. Bloody Pat McAfee was in a War Games match, believe it or not. I remember my favorite War Games match I've probably seen is either Blood and Guts 2022 or the one from, I think it's Wrestle War 1992. It's the one with like the Paul Heyman faction that has Steve Austin in it. It's that one. Or it's the one from last year where it's, I think it's, is it the JAS versus Blackpool Combat Club and Eddie Kingston?
I think that was last year.
Yeah, 2022. It's the one that ends on top of the cage, and Eddie has someone. I think Eddie has someone. I think he has Jericho in a submission, but then Claudio wins with a sharpshooter. It's that match, and it's the one where Cool and Andrews hung upside down and covered in blood. And it's also the match where Santana got injured. Anyway, so this will be my first seeing of WWE War Games matches start to end. But regardless, Survivor Series, which is historically it's one of the big four, but it seems to be the least loved of the big four, even though it was the second one to come out after WrestleMania in 1987. Do you know the reason why Survivor Series was created? Have you heard the story behind it?
I do not. No.
Because Vince McMahon in 1987 wanted to fuck up Starrcade. Because Starrcade used to be a Thanksgiving pay-per-view. And so Vince McMahon put Survivor Series at that exact same time. And he said to the pay-per-view networks, if you air Starrcade instead of Survivor Series, we won't let you have WrestleMania. And so because of that, Starrcade eventually got moved to a December slot instead of November. And that massively messed up Jim Crockett Promotions badly, because Starrcade's their biggest show of the year. And 1 year later, who bought JCP? That would have been Ted Turner, and turned it into WCW. So that's a bit of history for you.
My.
And I believe that year, was it Ric Flair versus Ronnie Garvin? I can't remember. Starrcade 1987. Chi-Town Heat. Yep, I was right. Ric Flair defeated Ron Garvin in a steel cage. That's a bit of history for you, but anyway, Survivor Series 2023. We are here for a show that only has... It's funny because we did AEW last week. We had like 11 matches on it. This is a pay-per-view that has 5 advertised matches. I think because it only has 5 advertised matches, this could be your best chance to finally take the belt back. Each prediction has such a high percentage of influence over the final score.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And I think the 2 big matches are kind of... They're pretty hard to predict, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, this seems to be one of the less, at least for the main event matches, it's one of the less predictable WWE shows of the year. Probably because Roman Reigns isn't on it.
And the fact that Seth isn't defending his belt.
Yeah, so you don't have world title matches. But, yes, I am looking forward to this show, actually. It's going to be a great day, because the Star Beast comes out that day, too.
Yeah, you've got Doctor Who, the 60th anniversary first episode, coming out, like, at 6:30, and then, for my time, and then literally 6 hours later is the Survivor Series. What a fucking day that is. Chaos day.
Yep. Yeah, so I'll be waking up on Sunday morning and watching Doctor Who, and then immediately after I'll be watching the pay-per-view.
Yeah. I'll probably be watching Doctor Who all day, and then the 60th, and then it's wrestling time. Woohoo!
Yep. And, and then probably, if everything goes to plan, I'll probably be reviewing the Star Beast on Lord Slars channel that night, if that's when we do it. And then literally go to sleep, and then the morning after, probably reviewing Survivor Series. Oh shit! I just realized I called the video review, not predictions. I got to change that.
Oh god, no, we haven't watched it yet. It's not out yet. Being all...
the thumbnail is correct though. The thumbnail says predictions.
Oh, well done.
Yep. A good thing I spotted that. So, do you think they're going to do a customized stage for this show, or do you think it's just going to be the generic screen?
No. Generic screen. I think it always is just going to be generic screen.
Fuck.
For at least a little bit longer. Considering it's been reported that Raw is seemingly getting a new theme, maybe they'll rebrand the stage by then on Monday, but I'm not too sure.
I don't know. I mean, I loved it back when they had the Survivor Series logo under the Titantron, and the wrestlers would walk under the two V's.
Yeah,
that was cool.
It's nice when stages used to be like stages and not just a flat screen TV.
Oh yeah, I loved it when they had all these different stages. That was so fun.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when they had Elimination Chamber and the Titantron was caged. That was great. I think one of my favorite ones was WCW Halloween Havoc, and they'd have a big pumpkin. It looked, and it had like a whole Halloween entranceway. Or spooky. Anyway, so yeah, Survivor Series is taking place in Chicago, Illinois. I believe it's in the Rosemont Horizon, which is now called the Allstate Arena, I think. Let me just look this up. Survivor Series 2023. Yeah, the Allstate Arena, which is traditionally called the Rosemont Horizon. It's the same building that they did Money in the Bank 2011 and WrestleMania 22. You know, it's that place. And whilst it's not a huge building, it's a very passionate building in terms of fans. You know, they have some very loud fans there, which I'm sure there will be for this show. I'm sure there'll be one particular chant we will hear quite a bit on this show, given the speculation that's been going around, which will be part of our predictions. But we'll get to that later. Yeah. Anything you want to say about the set dressing of the pay-per-view before we do predictions for the matches?
No.
No? How do you feel about the fact they've only advertised 5 matches?
For a big pay-per-view when 2 matches are War Games matches, I don't think it's that big a deal. Because those matches are going to be fucking long. Yeah. Those matches are going to be
to be fair,
an hour to 45 minutes at least.
Well, last year they were both 40 minutes each, and there was 5 matches on the show. So that makes sense, I guess. They're doing the same amount of matches as last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Very well. Okay, so let's get into predicting Survivor Series War Games 2023. Let's begin with, and we usually start with this specific match if they're on the card. Let's talk about the Intercontinental Championship match between Gunther and The Miz. My prediction is Gunther. I think it's not a given, it's not a guarantee that he's going to win, but I'm pretty confident. I don't see The Miz winning this match. I think that would be the wrong decision. Now, they have been telling a good story with the promos on Raw, the promo Gunther cut where it was, you know, you were bullied, and then you had your heroes in wrestling, and then you met your heroes and they bullied you because you don't belong in this sport. Absolutely scathing promo. The problem is he's absolutely right to some extent. I mean, it is harsh, but especially when The Miz started, he did not fit in with the locker room. They are trying to get Miz over as a babyface. The problem is, I think Gunther is too cool, and The Miz is he just can't work that way. It's not his natural fit. So we do have a bit of a jumbled dynamic, but hey ho. If Gunther can get a classic out of The Miz, that should be great. I mean, The Miz has a lot of history with the IC belt You know, he's a big part of its recent history, but Gunther has very much surpassed him within one reign, massively so. And yeah, I think this is just going to be Gunther winning. To be honest, that's my take on it. I can't logically see the Miz beating Gunther. It just doesn't work in my head.
Yeah, I have also gone for Gunter. I feel like that I'm pretty confident in that being the case. I don't see Miz winning at all. I feel like it'd be very strange for him to suddenly win the belt at this point in Gunther's reign, because it feels like it should probably be an opponent that is you're building up, like a Chad Gable or someone of that caliber.
Ilya
The Miz
Dragunov,
winning, I think, yeah, Dragunov, possibly.
Sheamus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even though Sheamus is not new, he's got history with Gunther.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see the Miz winning. So Gunter, and this is also my Androzani pick.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I'm not confident enough on the other matches to put them there. So I feel like this. I'm very confident at putting this at this point.
Interesting. So you've done it as your Androzani pick, not your Genesis pick.
No.
Strange. So that means that if Gunther wins, I only get half a point, and if the Miz wins, I lose a point. Well, that's a bit stink. Anyway, yeah. In terms of what we expect, I mean, I don't know what to expect with this match. I think anything could happen in terms of whether it's good or not. I think it could be really good, but it also could not.
I think it will be good. I think it will be good as long as it sticks to the Gunther formula and Miz has to
I think I heard somewhere like someone say Gunther is a 5-star wrestler and the Miz is a 2.5-star wrestler, so this is going to be halfway between that, which is 3 3/4. Anyway, right. So after that, we have the women's world title match between Rhea Ripley and Zoe Stark. I'm sure this match will slap. It'll be great to watch because even though Zoe Stark is very inexperienced, she's a great athlete and she has a swagger about her. Rhea Ripley is also very cool, great in the ring, fantastic matches. This could be an interesting dynamic.
I agree.
It could be an interesting dynamic because both these characters have an edge to them. You know, Zoe Stark is not clean and fucking kissing babies the way like Raquel Rodriguez is, if you get what I mean. You know, she's definitely on the more sort of the naughtier side of things compared. I expect this match to be really good, but I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that Rhea Ripley is retaining, and that's why this is my Genesis pick.
I've also gone for Rhea Ripley, but it's not my Genesis pick.
Good, because I didn't want to flip a coin off this one. We're actually doing that now. If we match on a Genesis or an Androzani pick, we have to flip a coin to see who gets it, and then we have to put the other person has to pick an alternative. Which on this show that would be hard because there's only 5 matches to choose from. Well, 5 matches and another prediction, which is not a match.
It's interesting though because obviously we now have the rule that the main event is worth double points.
Yes, but
so you haven't actually gone for a match that very much won't be the main event. Yes,
that's true actually, and we don't 100% know which War Games match is main event. Probably men's, I would imagine, but it's possible.
I'm very confident. I'm very confident it's men's.
Yes, could be.
It'd be weird if it didn't main event.
Yes,
to be quite honest.
Our third match, which is, I can't believe we're already there. We're only 20 minutes in. We're already over halfway through the predictions. This is fucking crazy. It's just such a small card. Short card. It's
a small card.
We have
technically we have 6 predictions.
We do have 6 predictions, and that will probably cause a lot more conversation, especially the 6th one.
Yeah.
Carlito versus Santos Escobar. this could be a
I
TV
think
match, but you
it
know,
could. But what I see this match as, I see this match, and I think Dan Layton described this well on their predictions on Wrestle Talk. This is a very much a does the company believe in Santos Escobar, or is this just a quick little heel turn to garner some talk for eventually Ray to beat him? Or is
yes,
this match going to be no? We actually see a lot in Santos, and he is going to be a big heel going forward on SmackDown.
yes.
So
I
that is why I've gone for Santos to win.
what this yes, so have I. What this match needs is story. It really needs story to invest fans in it. Otherwise, it's going to seem very filler. Because
Yes,
obviously,
because I think these last 2 weeks, I think since he's turned heel, have actually been really effective for Santos as a character, and I think the performance of Santos has been actually really, really good, and everyone around him in the LWO. Um, Eventually, this I imagine we'll eventually get obviously that Ray match. I'm not sure when. Maybe it'll be at Rumble. I don't know. Possibly, or maybe they tease it till Mania, but I think that's probably a bit too long for this kind of rivalry. But I'm into this. I am actually into the whole Escobar's heel turn because I think the justification seemingly is a lot similar to like Dom in a couple of ways because they put reference to the fact that he thinks Dom. Turns out Dom was right in terms of his mindset, which I
further
think is
adding
quite
to
funny.
Rey Mysterio's
Yeah.
trauma over that.
Yes, I think that's really really cool
Uh,
as a concept that they're sort of building long term with him, which I imagine will eventually end in his retirement at
I
some
feel like
point.
I'd be a lot more excited about this match if they hadn't changed Carlito's theme song, though. I know some people think that's not
Yeah, apparently,
important.
you know what I also learned on that same prediction from Wrestle Talk. Apparently, Dan Layton loves his new theme.
Why?
I
It's so
don't
generic.
know. I don't hate it, but it's not good.
No, but like
It's such a step down.
if it was given to anyone else that was Hispanic,
Yeah,
it would be
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
But because it's Carlito who had the
It
best,
it
like the best
Pete
Hispanic
put this
theme
exact
ever,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
Pete
right,
put this expertly. It's like Adam Cole's theme in NXT, where you go from Undisputed Era to whatever the fuck they gave him. It's not
yeah,
even a bad theme, but it's such a step down from Undisputed Era.
yeah.
Like, gigantic, yeah, by a massive fucking margin.
Yeah, so it's alright. Mikey Rockets
Yeah.
fixed that problem anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the thing is it's because Carlito's original theme that Jim Johnston made was so perfect. Like they should have never changed it. It's so perfect. I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. Da, 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 da. It's like you cannot get a better theme song for that guy than that. I just can't believe it. It's like he's lost all of his character if you just remove that theme song because it's so essential, you know? When I hear that old Carlito theme song, I think of that feud he had with John Cena in 2004 where he had Jesus stab him in a nightclub. Like that's the Carlito I think of, you know? Whereas I hear this new one and it just feels very watered down and doesn't feel like the same guy. I guess it's because they don't want kids spitting apples or something, but that's just bullshit. Have some balls. You know what cool is? You're looking at it. Also, heel Carlito is best Carlito anyway.
Yeah.
He is jacked though, I will give him that.
Yeah, he is Jack. And I have enjoyed this sort of little few weeks. This sort of build up to the heel turn.
Anyway, don't have much more to say on that. Let's get into the women's War Games match. So, I have my prediction of who I think is going to win, and I also really, 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 really want that team to win as well. I want it to be the team that wins as the one that I'm predicting, and that is Damage Control. Because
I've also gone for Damage Control.
Yep, because the people on the babyface team don't need it. Bianca, Charlotte, Shotzi, and Becky can all lose and not be damaged. Damage control, though, they winning that match would do an absolutely huge thing for their story. I know that there is gaslighting and deception with Bayley and that she doesn't really fit in anymore.
Yeah.
Now that, you know, Kairi Sane's part of it and Asuka seemingly is part of it. And there's like a sort of Japanese connection, and Dakota Kai on the outside is sort of the middle woman of it all. Bayley seems to be much more of an outsider rather than a leader now. However, I still feel like Damage Control needs to win this match despite that. You know, and giving that, I actually think having Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair at odds with each other would actually add... It could potentially be a good setup for a WrestleMania feud for them, because I think that could be a good WrestleMania match, is Bianca versus Charlotte. So, yeah, I'm predicting Damage Control to win, and I really do hope they win. Because I think Damage Control is one of the best things going in women's wrestling.
Yes, definitely. I can definitely see Team Good Guys winning, and having it due to Bayley messing up and causing the loss, which I think would be interesting going forward in terms of eventually they turn on her, which I think will eventually happen. But I've also gone for Damage Control because I think it's maybe a bit too early to start that. But I think what they will do is win it in spite of Bayley messing up.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what they're going to do.
Well, I mean, I can see a situation where Asuka, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane basically triple assault Shotzi and she surrenders. You know, that could happen. Is it the, I can't remember what the rules are in the WWE version. Is it like any one of the team can surrender, or does it have to be the team captain that surrenders?
No, anyone can surrender, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I can see that happening. The other alternative is one of the others surrender, and like, let's say Bianca surrenders and Charlotte blames her for it, or vice versa. That's a possibility. But anyway, I think this match also has a lot of potential to be great too. You have some very talented women in this match. I mean, obviously, Io Sky and Kairi Sane, Bianca Belair and Charlotte are all very talented athletes. I'm sure we'll see some aerial assault. Shotzi is a talented hardcore wrestler as well. So if they do any big sort of, you know, table spots or whatever, she'll definitely be on that. Obviously, Becky and Bayley. Interestingly, you got 3 of the Horsemen in this. And that history's there. Yeah, and Charlotte, Flair, and Becky Lynch on the same team. Now that is interesting, given their history, real history too. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. Definitely. And I'm interested to see if Dakota gets involved as well, because I'm sure she'll be there in some capacity.
Yeah. I think so.
Yep. Well, we're already at the main event. We have Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, or as Michael Cole would say, main event Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and the returning Randy Orton. Fucking after
return on Raw.
Yeah, after having spent a whole year off with a potentially year and a half off with an injury they said that he should retire. The doctor said he should retire with. He's coming back to the ring in a War Games match.
Yeah.
The balls in this man. Versus the Judgment Day. And Jada McDonough's part of that now. And Drew McIntyre.
Yes. Freshly turned heel, Drew McIntyre.
Yes. Now this match...
cut a very justified promo.
Oh yeah, he's fucking great. He's one of the best characters in WWE right now. Drew, heel Drew right now is fantastic. Now this match...
Oh yeah.
This match, I really could see it going either way. this is really hard to predict the result of this match for me. Because there's reasons for either side.
I had a tough one. I had a tough one picking this.
Because you have Randy Orton returning, and you'd imagine that returning wrestlers would usually win a match, right? But then you've also got the fact that Drew has just turned heel as well. And it was a toss-up, but the reason why I've chosen the babyface team to win is purely because I chose the heel team to win in the women's match, and that's the only reason. That is the 51% that has pushed me over the edge.
Mm-hmm. So I've also gone for Team Rhodes, as I am deeming them.
Mm-hmm.
My reasoning is I feel like this story probably. I hope finally Rose, Jay, Sammy, Seth finally just end everything with the Judgment Day and move on. Seth can have a new challenger. Cody can go do something else, please. Sammy can actually start maybe building towards maybe an Intercontinental title shot against Gunter. I actually wouldn't be against that at all. I wouldn't actually be against that at all. And obviously, rounding me back, I feel like Big Pop, maybe just feel good ending to the show after, Judgment Day getting a lot of wins recently. And the fact that I feel like someone like JD McDonough is going to be the person taking the pin quite easily. Or Finn, maybe, but I don't know. Probably will be JD McDonough. And in turn, this is also my Genesis pick. Mainly because I think this is going to main event.
Oh, so you want to get a 4-pointer off it?
Yeah, if it main events.
Damn.
Which I think it will.
Wow, interesting. Well, you'd think that would be it, but there is one more thing to predict. And what I would if it happens, in my opinion, it's the real main event.
Oh yeah.
Now, Shinsuke Nakamura has been teasing something on Raw about a certain mysterious person, and he has been alluding to a lot of very familiar things. So, the question is, in Chicago, in the Rosemont Horizon, in the building of Money in the Bank 2011, will CM Punk turn up? Well, I have decided to do two things with this. I've decided to take a risk, but I've also decided to sort of help that risk. What I have done is I'm going to say yes, he will turn up, but this is my Androzani pick.
Interesting.
Realistically,
if Team Rhodes main event and win, this isn't going to matter. Yeah, but I guess in that turn, does Punk return? Does he return? I've gone for a hard no. I don't think there's any chance he's turning up on this show in any way.
That's why I've gone for my Androzani pick for this, because if you're right, you'll only get half a point off it. And if you're wrong, you'll lose a point and I'll get a point.
Yeah.
It's wishful thinking. Shinsuke could just be trolling us. It's possible. It could genuinely, it could be someone else that comes out, like Grayson Waller.
I think it could be Okada. There's been reports of that recently.
Oh, that would be insane. Holy shit.
It would. But yeah, I think a lot of the Punk references, other than the MJF one from last night, that is actually a CM Punk reference, all of them have all been very much reaches and I feel like they're now stopping doing the references, and people are still trying to connect the dots.
What about when Shinsuke did a GTS?
I think that's just coincidental, realistically. I generally think that's just coincidental. If he does return, then oh my god, it's moment of the year. It is. It's moment of the year. but I think there's like a 0.5% chance he returns on this show. I just don't think it happens.
I just want it to happen so bad for the
Oh,
chaos.
I want it to happen too. Trust me, I want it to happen too because
The chaos,
mental.
man. The chaos of
Oh, yeah.
CM Punk being in this company again would be absolutely stupid.
It would. We know he wants to come back. We know he does. It's on W. It's weirdly enough, you wouldn't think for this 2 years ago. It's actually on WWE for him to come back.
Yeah, whereas back in
It is very strange.
back in like 2014, 2015, Vince was very keen for him to come back, and CM Punk wasn't.
And yeah. Time heals all wounds, I guess.
Was it? He said he's like, one day Phil's gonna regret what he said, and he's gonna come back, and we're gonna do business.
He's gonna be crawling back. Like the punk he is.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch.
I think Triple H would take him back, but I don't think Nick Khan would. That's my guess on the matter. But it depends whether or not Nick Khan is outvoted. Because I know Vince is obviously still involved to some extent, and I know that Vince has changed his tune on Punk. I think Vince is no longer interested. Especially after the whole thing where they did like Fox TV. I think it was like when SmackDown was on Fox and Punk was on that talk show.
They did WWE backstage, yeah.
Yeah, and they Punk said that there was talks between them about him coming back to WWE from that, and WWE played politics on him, and he hated it. That's why he went to AEW. It's one of the reasons. The other reason he said was because of how well AEW handled the Brody Lee tribute. And, you know, all the new opponents and the freedom to have creative control and edgy content and blood and bloody, you know, all that stuff. The stars aligned. But yeah, I've taken a risk and gone for yes, but I've made it my Androzani pick just in case I'm wrong. It'll slightly... But this, genuinely me choosing CM Punk yes could be the reason why I lose the belt. So it's a you know, this is potentially...
Well, I think it gives you a better chance because if Team Rhodes win and it's the main event, then I've won.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, because that's a 4-pointer. And that'd be 2 ahead of you for whatever score you have.
As a so good point.
I think if that happens, then I've pretty much won.
Well, should have thought that through, but it's a 5-match show. What can I do? I'm so locked in.
But you've picked Rhea, and that's guaranteeing you an extra point anyway if she wins. I think that's the most likely result to happen. So you've guaranteed yourself, I think, an extra point anyway.
Yeah.
I've gone for a risk because either team could win in that match.
That's true. But if you want to win this belt off me, you have to take a risk, don't you?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
But the real question is, do you think this is going to be a good show?
I think this will be a really good show. I think this could be a really fun show.
I think every match has potential.
Every match has potential. I'd probably say the match that I'm probably least excited about is probably Ripley, Zoe Stark / a little bit Escobar Carlito. But even then, I think those will be pretty good matches.
Well,
they give them a good amount of time.
Both of those matches have good athletes in them. So in ring, it should be fine.
They give it time and a bit of freedom, yeah.
I mean, if they manage to get, you know, a good story out of Carlito Escobar, get a really good in-ring, you know, fun match out of Rhea versus Zoe, you know, good blood-pumping match. They do something really good with Gunther Miz that, you know, ties together the IC title lineage as well as Gunther chopping the shit out of the Miz. And, you know, obviously 2 great War Games matches. And then on top of that, if they nail all that, and then a CM Punk return and face Shinsuke Nakamura in a quick little match, that could be... we could be looking at potentially pay-per-view of the year. If all of that happens. But, you know, remains to be seen. I mean, it's going to be hard to top some of those pay-per-views, though. You know, Mania Night 1, All In, All Out. There were some fucking very strong shows. But you never know. The War Games matches in general tend to be great.
Yeah, they tend to be very fun.
Especially in the modern era. But even
Yes.
back in the day, there was a lot of good ones. Yep. I love how Cody has on the poster, he's wearing the camo like I think it was in 1994 when it was Sting, Hogan, Savage, and Lex Luger wore that camo in the War Games match. And that was the show where all like Hogan did his own promo, and then the rest of his team came in, they all did a promo, then the rest of his team left the room, and then Hogan finished off the promo and did another one just to like hot dog and put more attention on himself. He just couldn't not have the last laugh there. Brother. Anyway, that was very short. Anything else you want to say before we...
It's not a big card, but yeah.
Anything else you want to say before we wrap up these predictions?
Like we said, Saturday's going to be a fucking intense day. I'm really looking forward to this show. I think this is going to be... I think, like last year, this is sort of the kickoff to... Like, this is the last big show before we enter Mania season.
That's right.
So once it ends, I'm very interested in see what the next month and a half of content in WWE is going to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, especially Raw. Raw especially, because I think this show is very heavy around, I'd say, Raw. Because three out of the 5 matches are Raw-based.
The thing is, I'd say, is that I think Raw is more interesting when it comes to the men's division, whereas SmackDown is more interesting when it comes to the women's division.
Yes. Yeah.
The only exception to that being, like, LA Knight and Roman Reigns.
Yeah. No LA Knight on this card, which is quite interesting.
Yes, very interesting.
Obviously, still going off the Bloodline, but no Bloodline type match on this card, which I think is quite surprising.
Yeah, and the next pay-per-view for them, I believe, is Royal Rumble in 2 months' time.
It is Royal Rumble.
So that's going to give
8 weeks.
That's going to give old AEW a nice little slot with World's End, isn't it?
Unless they do a big show on TV just to piss them off. I don't know. On Friday.
We'll see.
Or whatever day that is.
We'll see. Yeah, they could do like a surprise day one or TLC pay-per-view.
Yeah, they could.
New Year's Revolution. Anyway, I bid you adieu, a good night, and a goodbye. A bang. Wrong show.